The Gears of War E-Day multiplayer beta hit Xbox Series XS and Steam August 2026, offering a new mode to the Gears franchise in the form of Horde Siege, which is Horde mode plus extraction mechanics. Gears is my favorite shooter franchise, with Gears 3 being my favorite of the bunch. I've spent hundreds of hours playing these games and have a very strong awareness for the functions and mechanics, as it's the game I've spent the most multiplayer in. Picking up and playing any of the previous 6 Gears titles is like riding a bike. After a few matches, you easily get back into the rhythm, but with that said, while Gears E-Day is not out yet, it's clear from this beta that this new game, while looking like and sounding like a Gears of War title, asks you to relearn how to ride that bike from scratch. And with how niche and sweaty Gears games already were to begin with, it feels like there's no training wheels. I'm the real-life Fake Wizard, and this is a Fake Wizard's review of the Gears of War E-Day multiplayer beta. If this video brings you any value, hit the subscribe button, as we're posting lots of reviews every single week. The E-Day multiplayer beta is PvP PvE only. We are introduced to Horde Siege, a 12-player co-op mode with 3 squads of 4 on one map, all sharing objectives, extraction, 4 classes, invasion bonuses, and a few match-length options like Blitz, which is a 15-ish minute session, Siege, which is a 20 to 40-ish minute session, and Horde mode, of course, which is 10 waves of enemies and can run anywhere from an hour, more, or a little less, give or take. All 3 of these game modes are satisfying in their own ways, as you will find yourself running through and feeling very immersed in a very active battlefield. Whereas in classic Horde mode from previous games, there is a lull period in between wave sets, in this game, regardless of the mode, there is no lull. There is constant battle, and you constantly must be vigilant because random events could pop up that put you in danger. The extraction piece, should this last into the real game as is not a hindrance on the experience in any way. It is satisfying to chase down special missions and quests in order to pick up weapon enhancements and more XP. It's very clear to me that the Coalition intends for this new Siege mode to be a major selling point of E-Day, but also something intended to break this game into the normie gaming sphere. And that brings me to the story, which there isn't any of here, but it's important that we discuss. Gears 4 and 5 parked this story in a dumpster for most of the fanbase. Gears of War as a franchise is very niche. It's a sweaty game. You need to learn how to play this, and that takes a lot of practice. It is not for casuals, nor does it pretend to be. This beta, in particular, proves that they're doubling down on many of those sweaty mechanics, of which we'll talk more about in just a moment. But what I want to point out is they lost a lot of fans with Gears 4 and Gears 5. Neither game did great numbers, and that's just based on the analytics we do have, which isn't very much. Gears 5 was expensive to produce and not well received by players, ending on a cliffhanger. The esports scene completely dried up with Gears 5. It also put the franchise on ice for 7 years. We know that Gears 1 Reloaded, which shipped on PlayStation 5, did not sell that well, seeing only 1 million players engaged over 3 days. That includes Game Pass players, and on Xbox, if you already owned the Ultimate Edition previously, you automatically got the bump up to the Reloaded version, so that's not a new sale either. E-Day here needs to reignite the franchise. It needs to get old fans back. It needs to drum up actual unit sales. It needs to get people to subscribe to Game Pass, and it needs to create a brand new audience of new young gamers. That's a lot of baggage on this game's shoulders. Now, we don't know what the story will be, but there are elements here that have me seriously concerned, specifically with the framing of this Carter character, as it appears they're setting up for her to be the focal protagonist of this new game. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope I'm wrong. I will happily accept being wrong if so. This game should exclusively focus on Marcus Phoenix and Dom Santiago, as they're the main characters players want to play as. It's their mission and their story we care about. We don't care about anyone else. I say all of that to cue up that I think the Horde Siege mode is intended to win extraction shooter players, but also they're trying to break in with normie streamers like Tim the Tatman, Dr. Disrespect, Nick Merckx, you know what I mean, the burnt peanut guy. The streamers. Not only do I think they're leaning for streamers to pick this up, but it's actually required. For this game to reach the financial success required to be profitable, this game needs to win normies, and you need them bad. If the story is polarizing or attempts to rewrite the original trilogy in any way, you'll lose the chuds. And unfortunately, you need the normies, and you also need the chuds. You cannot afford to lose the chuds on this game. If the $400 million production budget is real for this game, then you need every player you can get. And that brings me to the actual gameplay now, of which the beta treats 20 years of thumb muscle memory as if it's a suggestion. Vaulting over ledges and jumping, which is new, is on the Y button. There is no more roadie running. Now you sprint, and it's not with A anymore. You click in the left stick instead. Barrel rolling is moved to the B button instead of the A button. The A button is for sliding on the ground and sliding into cover only now. Reloading isn't the right bumper anymore. It's now the X button. And the animation for active reloading is on the center of the screen, not in the top right corner. Movement itself feels heavy. It feels weighted. You need to learn to be even more precise with movement in a game that already needed movement accuracy. At first, I hated a lot of these changes. They are tedious, they are frustrating, but some things, like X to reload, is similar to other games. The reload bar in the center of the screen helps the eye line stay in place. Instead of clicking A to pull away from cover, click the sprint stick to get a faster slide out of cover. Like, it's the little things you learn after playing for 8 or so hours makes this game stand apart from the other Gears games, but I think it's still too soon to call for if that's better or worse, or maybe just adjacent from previous experiences. I don't hate this game. I just can't confirm if I love it yet. At the time of recording this, the first beta has ended. There's another starting later this month, but right now, I can't play the game. It is not available for me to play at all. And I really want to play it, mostly out of pure curiosity for what else I didn't get to experience, but I think that says something right there. This game left me wanting to play more of it. As far as betas go, that's the kind of reaction the developers want you to have. I remember playing the Gears 3 beta and the Gears Ultimates beta. I played both of those years ago when they were available. Those multiplayer builds ran cleaner than E-Day's entire game feels right now. The overall gameplay experience was less clunky 15 years ago on Gears 3. That game felt more polished then. This one feels like it still needs work, but I don't know if that's on the developers or the fact this is built on Unreal Engine 5 and UE5 is at the end of its life cycle. Now, I do have some observations about this game that do need to be discussed. My final time spent playing this game was slightly under 8 hours. Almost all of it was playing Horde Siege mode. All of it was playing as Marcus Phoenix. In previous games, Marcus and all the characters interact and have voice lines with other characters and the overworld they will also comment on. In all of my playtime, I never once heard Marcus address anyone else on the team except for one person, and it's the new Carter character here. He specifically says, "Carter, great shot. Hey Carter, leave some for the rest of us."
Hey Carter, nice shot. Let him have it, Carter. Hey Carter, nice shot.
Take that.
Hey Carter, leave some for the rest of us.
Marcus Phoenix, the gruff, argumentative brick wall of this franchise who, yes, does have a soft spot underneath all the trauma, is not someone I considered to be someone you turn to for positive affirmations while on the battlefield. And the reason for that is because he's the last person to give someone a pat on the back simply for existing. This encouraging commentary feels strange. It feels like it's out of place. It feels out of character. I mean, as he was specifically saying it, I didn't know who Carter was, and I had to think to myself, please don't be that new character. Please do not be the new character that they're trying to make the focal point protagonist. The character that is the only one you get an exclusive skin for by playing in this beta. Please don't have 3 different lines of dialogue with positive affirmations for that one character. Surprise. It was. People online are calling this character growth, that this young Marcus is from a nicer era before all of the trauma, so maybe he's a little nicer. But that's not true, none of that is. At this point in the timeline, he's already experienced Aspho Fields, and most of the LARPers online forget that the humans of Serra were already at war before the Locust popped up out of the ground. So, no. This isn't an untraumatized Marcus. He's already a war veteran at this point. Some people online tried to tell me that these dialogue lines are indicative of a story we're gonna get in the campaign. Okay, well, remember what I said earlier. If this game changes the story in any kind of controversial way, or attempts to weaken Dom or Marcus, it will dramatically impact sales numbers. And they can't afford that. Gears of War E-Day lists at $70 for the standard edition and $100 for premium. There's also day one Game Pass options too. Horde Siege mode gives the series a multiplayer reason to return, while the control rewrite and new clunk keep the beta from feeling like home. I cannot give a number rating on this game or beta because I do believe there will be lots of changes made. But for those waiting to see if it's worth buying, perhaps keep waiting a little bit longer, as we have plenty more developments on the way. As it stands, if you already have Game Pass and you're into sweaty multiplayer games, or perhaps you're a Gears fan waiting for something new, then yeah, I would say this is worth giving a shot. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and cancel Disney+.